I just called, trying to get over him before he comes in here. He's not answering his phone yet, so he must still be in the middle of it.
All right, that's all right.
All right, I'm gonna take a minute here and read through your statement, if that's all right.
Yes.
Get an idea. You might have answered some of my questions already, so.
But I did, I was trying to cover as much as I could. If my writing's not real legible, you just ask me and I can clarify it real quick for you.
Okay. Yeah. 4 o'clock, Bluegrass Center.
And I don't know these, I put approximately, I just put 4.
Yeah, that's, nobody, I don't expect you to know exactly.
Yeah, no, there's no way for me to.
Yeah. Yeah, that was one of the things that I was confused about, because Kylie had said that she was gone before. She said, she had told me that she was gone before you got back from the gas station and before Mom got home. But I don't think that's correct, because her grandma said she picked her up about 7:30. So you guys were already gone from the house. She had to be there while y'all were there, right? Is this Friday? You ordered on the new construction on Friday?
Yeah, and I didn't put that order, but I put all that right there. The further you go, the more clarified I get. I broke it down into segments.
Oh, these are the people whose house you were working on?
Yeah, all these right here are people that I'm overseeing, that I'm speaking or talking to. We'll just look at my phone to get my exact time. I got my phone in there, and that way you can build a timeline of all this stuff. But I do this every day, so me looking back, I had to know what time it is.
Right.
There's no way for me to remember that. I mean, you'll see the more that you get to looking through there, you'll see how much I've got in my head to try to keep up with. All these are guys that are working for me that help me, every one of them.
Okay.
And then these right here, I skipped a line to break that and put locations, and then I did it in subdivision, so y'all know where my vehicle, y'all know where I'm at, my phone and everything. Those are the numerical address, the street address, and this is the type of work that I've got going on past that hyphen mark. Those are the type of work I've got going on at each construction, so every one of them is a separate job. And then this right here is for the whole subdivision, keep the Woodlawn Springs homeowner subdivision, the president and all the members, the committee and stuff, I want to keep the subdivision looking nice, trash and debris and all that kind of stuff, the metal grates in the road, the curb and gutter and all of that. And this is just kind of like a daily thing. I've got to go through this every day to keep everybody rolling and everybody happy. And this switches subdivisions. You see I put copper fields up here, and then these are the number of houses I got going out there. I've got different subs in different spots.
Sorry, that thing will go off pretty constantly.
That's fine.
I've got people all over the county, so.
All right.
That was him. He's on his way back with your phone.
All right.
And I thought I had busy days.
No, I've just been used to accustomed to this, you know, that's how I grew up.
Right.
You know,
Was your dad a builder?
my dad was a construction worker for CSX Railroad.
Oh, okay.
About 24, 25 years. I read a book when I was in high school. That's what started me doing this. Do you know what those abbreviations are? Like
That's
Kentucky,
one bank,
you know,
Lincoln National, Wilson Muir, Town and Country,
Springfield State Bank.
Springfield.
You want me to write that out for you?
No, that's all right. That was the only one I didn't recognize.
All right. Nobody else will write on that though, correct?
No, and I'm gonna make you a copy to show
And I
you.
want to be sure that
Yeah.
nobody else, you know, messes with none of my stuff.
Right. No, you're gonna get a copy of it so that you can look at mine and look at yours and say they're the exact same thing.
All right.
In fact, I'll do that right now. Better do it, take 4 pages at a time, run that up there. I think the recycled tablets ain't the best. Give me just a second, I'll bring it right back. take a minute, go through those page by page and compare them just to make sure that everything's good to go on them.
Looks good to me, sir.
I'll take the original if you'll keep the copy, and that way we'll both have a copy. And we'll put this in the file. So we're obviously we're hearing tons and tons of rumors, right?
All right.
And I know Bardstown is the rumor mill of the world, but in a case like this, you know, should it turn into a homicide investigation, any question that I didn't ask doesn't get asked. Does that make sense?
I don't understand what you're saying, but.
Well, if I don't ask you, then somebody's gonna ask me why I didn't ask you later. You see what I'm saying?
Sure.
So when I ask you a question, it's not to be offensive, it's to get the question cleared up so that we can move on to another.
I understand. Yeah, I help however I can.
So one of the rumors that we're hearing is that you all had gotten notice from the IRS that you were being investigated for tax evasion. Is that correct or incorrect?
No, sir.
Not correct. And again, these are all rumors that people are calling in about.
That's
so.
fine. And where you can get a legitimate source, also about verifying everything, right across the street here, up here at Gilbert Brown Company CPAs does my taxes. He has for several years. If I need to sign a form to release all his documentation on me for that, you're all more than welcome to it. That's the easiest way for me.
These are
That's
just
fine.
rumors.
Ask whatever you gotta
That's
ask.
spelling. Had you and Crystal ever talked about breaking it?
I mean, obviously we have fought just like any other,
Sure.
any other couple, but in the last several years, I mean, that right, it's came up, but we've always found ourselves together moving forward. So that it's mentioned, but it's never happened, and we've always found ourselves together moving forward.
Okay. I know she didn't work out of the home currently, but had she worked out of the home recently? Had she had a job outside of taking care of the rental properties?
Well, she took care of 2 young children. So she did some babysitting there at the house for some extra money. One little boy was about Eli's size, and other was, I don't know how old, but he was a little bit older. And I don't know how long, if it was 8 months or a year, but she had worked at the store up the road from our house for the, I don't want to say anything discriminatory. I don't want to say if they're not Americans, but
They're Indians.
All right, yeah,
I
don't want to say nothing
the
that's
convenience store.
Yeah, convenience store. She worked for some folks up there. I do not know that. I think it might be Sandy or Sandeep or something like that, but I don't know. She worked up there at that gas station for quite some time, but that's been quite some time ago.
Was that before or after Eli was born?
I think she started there before he was born, and she did work some there after he was born. She worked for a pretty good period of time there, but it's been quite some time back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he's 2.5. So
He's a little bit older than 2.5.
Yeah.
He'll be 3 in October.
Almost 3. Yeah.
All right.
So you think it was a year ago or better since you worked there?
Probably approximately. I don't know. I would say give or take a 6-month window there, something like that would probably be pretty accurate. But I do not know the answer to that. I do not know. I just know that it's been a period of time.
Since you've lived together, have you all always lived on Glenview?
That's the only house since Eli has been born. We brought him home from the hospital We lived there.
Okay.
Yes.
So
That's the only
so you all were
residence.
living there when she was working at the, and when she stopped working at the.
When she stopped, yes, when she stopped working there. There was, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 other girls that worked up there with her. I don't know their names. They didn't have a large amount of employees, just a few.
When you said you all had, talk about splitting up, had that been more recently, or was that before Eli was born, or had that been?
I don't remember the exact dates, but if you'll recall back in a couple of days ago when we had talked, whenever usually that had came up, she had always went to like Sabrina's house, or she went out with Brooke or to her parents for a short period of time, a day and a half, and after she cooled off, and we had a chance to talk a little bit, we always found ourselves back together. But it has been at times a stressed relationship. I'm not here telling you anything other than that. That is the truth, and that's accurate. That has been discussed, but we've always found ourselves together. We love each other very much, and that right there is the bottom end of it.
Well, the reason I ask is because there are some people that she's associated with that are telling us that she had made some tentative plans to leave, like looking at an apartment at that store above the apartment above the store. I'm just trying to figure out if that was something that was ancient history or if that was something that was more recent.
Well, that's news to me. I don't know anything about that.
So when you all, let's say the last time you all had discussed splitting up, she didn't discuss any specifics with you about moving to an apartment or anything like that? Just that you all were having some issues and you resolved it?
Say all that again.
Yeah.
Break your question. Break them down.
The last time that you all had that type of a disagreement, okay? The last time that there was the possibility that you might split up, did she specifically talk to you about moving out somewhere?
No, not anything that she's never had an isolated point saying, hey, I'm moving here or moving there. I don't recall anything like that.
Okay.
No, sir.
That was my question.
All right.
Just if she had.
Well, sometimes I know that you all do this for a living. Sometimes I feel like when you ask me a question, you put so many things, and I'm thinking we need to dissect it a little bit so I can answer each part specifically rather than put so. And I'm not upset at me for saying that to you.
No.
Put so much stuff in one. I want to break it down in a simplified, direct question rather than put so much information into one question. Try to answer one and have a bunch of parts in one.
No, that's fine. If you need me to, that's fine. What you did right there is just fine.
All right, yeah, you know what you did.
Ask it a different way or ask.
Because I want you helping me.
No,
all right, that's all right.
That's no problem at all. We kind of already established the Kylie thing, but just so I'm clear on it.
All right.
You got home at somewhere between 5 and 5:30, probably closer to 5, right?
Yes, sir.
And Kylie was there?
I didn't go in the house at that time.
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
No, I knew that whenever she was coming behind me, I knew that she was going to be there shortly. So what I did was I jumped on that little tractor. I knew I had a little bit of time, and I wanted to go up there and fill it up full of fuel, check, do all that kind of stuff, get my fuel levels right, so that I didn't have to stop. I've got, as you can tell when you look at that list, I got so much stuff to do. I don't have any unaccounted for time. I'm wide open. Right. If I stop for a few minutes, I go backwards, and I don't have time to do that.
So so you didn't go inside, so you don't know if she was there when you arrived.
I don't know if she was there. She was riding with Crystal. I do not know.
And when you got back from gassing up the tractor, they were all there. Her and Eli and Crystal.
All 4, yes.
Yeah, okay. And so all 4 of you were there. So during that time, the neighbor says she got home around 5:15, give or take.
That's right. So
from 5:15, and I think I mentioned to you that I see on the video that you all go past Circle K. You go past the storage place and Circle K all within a minute or so, about 5 minutes after 7, thereabouts, give or take a minute.
All right.
So let's say you left the house around 7 o'clock.
All
Fair
right.
enough.
That's fine.
There's gonna be a little bit of time, but I'm just generalizing. So she gets home about 5:15, you get back from the store, you all are there from, let's say, 5:30 to 7 o'clock together, the four of you. You eat dinner at home, I think you told me last time.
Yeah, we didn't fix nothing. I don't know what we ate. We didn't fix nothing fancy.
Right, sandwiches.
Whatever we
else.
did.
You guys leave to go to the farm, but Kylie does not go with you.
That's correct.
She stays there waiting on
Her
Kathy.
Mamaw Kathy, her father's mother.
Yeah, Kathy Fenwick.
Yes.
Right. So she stays there. You don't know what time she gets picked up, but she's there when you all leave.
Yes.
Because that was one of the things, I think she got confused, Kylie, not Kathy. Kylie got confused about the time frames when I was talking.
But I can't speak on their.
Yeah,
I
no,
don't
that's
know that.
fine with that. I'm just trying to make sure I'm not confused.
All right. That's fine. What you said is my understanding of it.
So you guys leave, you go, presumably you go out Bloomfield Road to Guthrie because you go past Circle K and not turn on Woodlawn Road. So you go out there, and then the next time I see you is when you pass Caddy Shack, the little restaurant there on 49. You go past there, and it's about the right amount of time for you to be traveling, you know. And then you get to the farm around, best I can figure out by the time frame on the video, is about 19 minutes after 7. So you're actually there, you know, roughly about 7:20. So
Okay.
so you get there. By the way, I twisted I guess it would be your aunt's arm to. We noticed they had the video cameras. That's why.
Yeah, that's fine. That's good.
So she actually helped you out with the time.
Good.
It showed you coming. Now I haven't watched the full days yet, so I don't know
Right.
anything about comings and goings. But I know you got there about 20 minutes after, and you left there about 11:55 thereabouts.
Right.
So during that time, from reading your statement, you left once and went down almost to Loretta Road and then turned around and came back because you decided the Tractor Supply might be closed, right?
Yes.
So that, you know, a little bit of time there. How long were you at the farm before you went to get feed and then came back, decided that it was too late? Do you remember roundabout?
It couldn't have been long.
Because you were going to feed the cows, right?
Yeah, it could have been probably more than, I don't know, 15 or 20 minutes.
Okay. I'm just trying to get an idea so when I watch the video, you know, I can kind of look for when you're coming out and then you're going back.
Yes.
And when you got to the farm, do you know if anybody was there other than your mom?
I don't know.
Okay. Did you see your mom when you came in?
No, we didn't stop up there. We went straight down there we were going there to feed the cows.
Right.
So.
Well, yeah, but the barn's within eyeshot of the
Yes.
house.
But sometimes she might park inside, sometimes she might not, so I don't know if.
Right. She got more than one vehicle?
She's got a little red truck, and she's got
I saw
a
that
white, and then she's got a white SUV.
Okay.
But that 15 to 20 minutes is as close as I can, and that's a guess, but I'd say it's pretty accurate.
I think your mom told me she had been mowing grass. Do you know if she was mowing when you got there? Or
She's always outside doing such. She's more of an outside person than inside, but she likes to mow grass. Sometimes she'll mow it whenever it don't even need to be mowed. So, but no, I don't recall her mowing if she was mowing. But you know, there's a lot of area there that if she was mowing, that I could have pulled in and not seen her, but I don't believe she was mowing.
Okay. And it's not all that important. I'm just trying to get an idea of what was going on.
All right.
So there, I noticed when I was out there yesterday, I guess it was. So there's a bulldozer in the drive.
Mm-hmm.
There's a tractor, actually two tractors in the barn, right? There's a tractor with a bucket and a tractor that looked like maybe it was leaking hydraulic fluid. Maybe somebody
Or
was
an
working on it
attachment,
something.
or yeah.
Maybe an attachment.
All right.
So while you were out there Friday, did you operate any of that equipment to take care of the cows, or how do you normally?
No, I don't.
By hand?
No, when you feed the cows, you just get the sweet feed and you holler for them, you shake a bucket, and because repetitious, they know to
Sure.
run, they know.
I didn't know if you fed it hay.
Now, if you're talking about in the wintertime, you have to have a tractor that can handle, we don't do square hay. I mean, in the wintertime, we're gonna have to handle a round bale.
Right.
And that's done by tractor. We're not gonna, you can roll one by hand, you got 4 or 5 guys, but I mean, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna take a tractor and.
Right, but I'm talking about Friday, you didn't
No,
know anything
no.
Friday. So you just fed them out of the bucket, the sweet
Yes.
feed. And,
Now, Aaron probably, he's out there raking hay and stuff. He might very well have done that. I don't know if it was Friday, but he's been out there the past 2 weeks doing hay. And I don't drive the equipment because that's not what I do. Aaron takes care of all that, and he bales the hay, he cuts it, he does all the mechanical work out there, and
now who is Aaron?
the person that does all the work out there.
But I mean, is he related to you all, or is he a farmhand, or what is he?
Yeah, he's the city mechanic right up here for the city of Bardstown, the bus garage. He does all the mechanics and does all the inspection reports for the city of Bardstown bus school system.
Right, but how is he connected to your family?
There's no blood relation. We graduated together in high school.
You and he did?
Yes.
Okay, and
And
so
then
does he get the hay off of your farm, or?
5 of the cows out there that are out there are his.
Oh, okay.
So what he does is, whenever you look at this paperwork, I've got so much stuff going on. I'm not a farmer. I enjoy farming, but I don't farm. So what he does is an added benefit to me. He takes care of all the fencing, all the labor, keeps the equipment running. If it's round bales or busting ice and stuff like that in the wintertime, he does all that. He's got the time. He gets off early at 3 o'clock in the day. So he will come out there, and he knows about the mechanics. I'm not a mechanic, so he'll go out there and cut all the hay and prepare for the winter. He uses his time to do all that, to use the grounds out there for his cows, because he's only got about 7 acres here in town, and he wants to keep growing and expanding. And a way to do that, I don't have time to bush hog and all that, so I would rather keep up with the grounds by letting somebody do that and participate and let them. I don't charge them no money.
Right.
You see what I mean?
Right.
So
But he keeps his cows out there.
yes, it's a good trade-off.
Gotcha.
Absolutely.
Okay. But he wasn't there Friday that you saw.
No, he wasn't there Friday night.
When you were there. Right. Not before. I don't know
Yeah.
about before, but when you were there, he wasn't there. So you all fed the cows with the buckets, and watched them eat. And then you walk. Now, when you said you walked the road to the grab, you're talking about not just to the turnaround that goes right by the barn.
We walked to the back.
To where the old county road goes to.
Where I put yes, exactly. Where the road gets a little harder. I mean, you can still drive a car on it, but there's a little bit of grass in the middle. But
Right.
we.
And that's what goes when you get to
cul-de-sac at the top of the hill.
right. If you get to the turnaround here, this
The house is right here in the barn
right
here.
there. It goes
Right here is where, yes, and it goes back there a far pit. And there's 3 big pens back through there. There's 3 separate fields where we rotate the pasture and stuff.
Gotcha. And you said you walked from field 1.
Yeah, let me just make it real clear for you. You can put this in your paperwork or whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
I didn't write that, but.
No, I drew it out for somebody else.
This is the barn. And then, of course, the fence does something like this.
Right, kind of gives an angle off Mom's place.
And then it goes all the way back. So somewhere right in here, this is a double gate. This is where we go in. Right here is where we enter the field, because this is barbed wire, And then over here is kind of an octagon's 8, but it ain't 8. This is like a pen out here that we can move, and then there's some troughs and stuff in here. And then I think right here, that field separates and then there's another gate right here. So this is number 1, and then way up here, this is number 2, and then number 3 goes a far piece back through there. Right. So we go through this gate, and then the gate from 2 to 3, the other gate's up here.
Right.
You know what I'm?
Yeah.
And then there's more food in field number 3 than there are on these other two, because these two are 8 down close.
Mhm.
So a lot of times, and it's cooler back there in them ravines and hollers for the cows than if they're on this flat land, and they would rather stay cooler and eat back there. And there ain't a big pond back there, but there's a little pond for them for a water supply too right now. So more often than not, they go back there in that third field, but like in later in the evening, a lot of times we're consistent at the times, and sometimes we're not. But a lot of times in the evening, they'll drift up here thinking they're going to get some feed.
Right,
Yeah.
for the sweet feed, right?
Yeah.
So you all, when you all went for the cows, though, I think.
Yeah, we went in this gate right here, and then we walked all the way back through there.
Through. So because they weren't up in field 1.
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay, so you fed the cows, what else did I read there? Sorry. I'm doing all kinds of crazy stuff over there. You fed the cows, and then you come back out and you walked the road, right? The road that goes to.
Yeah, after we come back out from walking up through here, then we walk out to here, there's another. Did I see your pin again?
Mm-hmm.
So there's another. It ain't exactly straight, but it looks something like this.
That's the driveway.
Yeah, this driveway to the barn.
Right.
And then we walk out the road, and we just walk back through there.
Okay. And how long would you say that road goes back into there? Do you know? If you had to guess.
I don't know. I bet it's a good mile.
From
right
the
here.
barn to the end of that road and back. So a couple mile walk going to and from.
Yeah, if you go, because there's a cul-de-sac right here. There's also a cul-de-sac I put in up here, and then there's a third cul-de-sac at the very end, by a creek back there in the very back.
Oh, okay. But you think it's about a mile, maybe?
I would
more,
say
a little
close,
less?
yeah.
So you walked to the end of there and you came back. Did y'all do any work on the barn or anything while you were there?
No, we didn't do no work on that barn.
Didn't work on the driveway or anything like that?
Mm-hmm.
The dozer, the reason I ask is because the dozer that's sitting there, did somebody use that to put that driveway in or put rock on that driveway recently, or?
No, on Saturday, I moved it over there. It was parked. That dozer, I've got a skid steer also broke down.
Right.
I've got a skid steer right here with some weeds growing up around it.
Yeah.
And then I had a dozer. The dozer right here.
Mm-hmm.
And I did, I backed it right across here. Right here. And there's been a water coming in the front. There's a big door right here in the front of the barn.
Mm-hmm.
And water had been going in the front of it right here. And then I moved, and I wanted to, she's always complaining about, my mother
Mm-hmm.
is always complaining about the trash and rubble that she likes to keep everything neat and clean. She likes to keep the grass mowed short, but I'm not going to pay a high bill to take that stuff to the county dump when I can clean it up easy. It's too much to do all at once, but I can, every time I come out there, I can throw a match on it or burn a little pile. Eli likes to roast marshmallows, so what I do, and we spend so much time out there, what I do is put a pile, and I'll light a little piece of it on fire.
Mm-hmm.
And then that way I don't have a huge fire, but I've got enough that I'm constantly getting rid of some, and then they won't charge me that high density fee out there at the dump. So I'm going to take all this equipment, this skid steer too. I just haven't drug it over there yet. And then all these trailers with them weeds are high. I'm going to try to get it on both sides of these doors, just to get it out of there.
Did you burn anything Friday night when you were out there?
Yeah, yes, it's not uncommon. I don't want the stuff piling up to the moon. I always light a fire. There was a little pile, probably write that on there. Right here with this little pile here, I think y'all may have covered it up. Y'all got out there.
I think we did.
Slung stuff everywhere, but.
Yeah, I apologize. That
It don't matter.
Well, the dog, that lady's dog, she said acted like there was something under there.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. So I had a water problem right there, and I'm in the process of getting that right there fixed. We dug out right there in front of that door to try to let a vein of water come out because it's too low. The slab is.
And that was Saturday?
That was Saturday when I did that.
Do you remember what time Saturday you got out there?
Mm-hmm.
Was you before lunch, after lunch?
Oh yeah, it was well before lunch. It wasn't. It was morning time, but it wasn't early morning. It wasn't late morning. It was about mid morning.
So you had a little fire. When was that? After you took your walk or before you took your walk?
I lit it. I don't know if I lit it right before we took off walking. I know we fed the cows first because I want to do that as quickly while we had still plenty of daylight. I don't know if I lit the fire before we walked back here or right when I got back. I could have done it either one. I don't remember.
Mm-hmm. So you lit the fire. I'm assuming then you probably don't leave until the fire burns out. Would you leave it burning? I don't know. I generally don't like to walk away.
Yeah, but if it's just a bed of coals,
I mean, it's not like burning.
I wouldn't leave if I thought there was any danger. Not especially when I got all this equipment and barn and stuff right there. But I mean, if it's died down and it's just a big bed of coals, I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah.
So, especially if it's not in August or September when everything's just perfectly dry. It wasn't.
We had plenty of rain.
Yeah, and the ground's wet and dew's on. Yeah, it's not a big deal. To me, I'm not a firefighter, so.
But you definitely moved the dozer on Saturday.
Yeah, I moved the dozer on Saturday.
Is there a septic system with that barn?
There is.
Okay.
It's never been hooked up. There's never been a toilet put on there. But I tell you who put it in there, and he can tell you exactly how 100% it was done. Is Casey Ballard.
Casey Ballard did.
Mm-hmm.
And Casey Ballard, is that her?
That's her brother.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah. So he put the septic. Is there like an opening somewhere where you can access it?
Oh,
for
yeah.
Maintenance and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Where would that be at?
There's a big pole out in the middle of this in field number 1 right here.
Uh-huh.
There's a great big pole like this right here.
Uh-huh.
That marks the end of it. It's got one big lateral, big pipe on it, and it's marked out there so somebody don't crush it with a tractor.
So the opening for the top of the septic tank?
No, the top,
You're talking about the lateral line?
Yeah, that just daylights out.
Right.
There's a big, underneath that, right where this fence is right there,
Uh-huh.
there's a big round lid right here.
Okay. Next to fence for field 1. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And how long has that septic system been there? I noticed the work
Probably
kind of ongoing.
Probably about 3 years,
3
years. I just never did finish that barn, because I've had so much other stuff going on. But in that barn, I've kind of got a little.
Yeah, I saw where you were putting the cedar plank.
I never got done with it, but I'm close to getting it done. I just never made it that far.
Right.
But yeah, the right where that little plumbing, that little bathroom is, right on the outside of the barn, there's a big a septic tank right there, and then there's a great big long piece of pipe right here, a bleeder valve, and then it's marked by there's a big pipe. There's an iron T-post out in the middle of this field, and then I took a piece of PVC pipe that's weather resistant, and I just slid over top. It would stop the post from rusting, and it's also much taller than the grass, so that if the grass did get up real high, somebody wouldn't hit it with a bush hog, or wouldn't hit it with a mower or something like that.
All right, so you guys you've taken your walk. The fire is down, maybe not out, but it's down enough. and you're leaving, and it looks, again, looking at the video, looks like it's about 5 minutes till midnight.
All right.
That's to me, and I've got a couple of kids, but everybody parents a little differently. To me, it seems a little late to be out on the farm with a 2.5-year-old. Where is he at midnight? Has he been asleep in the car for a while? Is he still
No, he's still wide open, and
Really?
and any night he's so used to sleeping so later in the morning. His normal day, that's his 7, 8 o'clock in the evening. Really? 11, because she sleeps much later in the morning. She stays up. So and it's always been that way.
So
And
he's
like
good to
people
go
do,
at midnight.
he's wide open.
Yeah. Okay. So you guys get back and load up in the truck. Load up in the truck and you drive back. You leave out. I see you leave out the driveway at about 11:55. Somebody passes you on the drive back on Loretta Road about 10 minutes after midnight or so. He says, roughly, we're still kind of narrowing that down, but roughly sees you about 10 after midnight, which wouldn't be uncommon. It's been raining most of the day. The roads are kind of wet. 15 minutes from your mom's house to the golf course. There's Caddyshack.
Mm-hmm.
Not a big deal there. And so do you remember, or did you go straight home on Friday night, or did y'all stop somewhere? Or, because I'm thinking if that's their normal 7, 8 o'clock in the evening, it might be dinner time. Did you stop and eat something, or did you go straight home?
We did not eat anything. I went straight home.
Okay. So you went straight home. So if we assume that he's correct in about 10 minutes after midnight, another 10 minutes to the house or so. So
I don't see it being that late. I mean, if that's what some of the things say, I guess you'd have to kind of go by that. But yeah, we didn't stop anywhere. We went straight home.
So you could feasibly be home by 11:30. You could be home.
I feel like
which is what you told me. You thought,
Mm-hmm.
or I'm sorry, not 11:30, 12:30. You could feasibly be home by 20 minutes after 12 if he passes you at 10 minutes after 12.
All right.
Which is a little off from what you originally told me, and you just said I still think it's a little off, but we'll go with what the camera says as opposed to memory, because sometimes memory is not that great.
All right.
And I checked the time on her camera, and I'm allowing for about a 9-minute gap there between what my watch says and what her camera says.
All right.
So which puts you leaving there by 11:55, which, again, 15 minutes to Caddyshack is not terribly bad in the rain. So it could have been that he passed you at 10 minutes after midnight, putting you home roughly 20 minutes after 12.
All right.
Fair enough?
Yes.
So you guys get home 20 minutes after 12, right there, thereabouts. I think you said you went to bed first. Do you remember about how long you were home before you went to bed?
I went to bed immediately.
So when you guys got in, you went and did your nightly routine, and you're going to bed. I think you told me that she stayed up, and Eli, did he stay up as well?
He was.
And where was she at?
If there's any activity going on in the house, he doesn't want to go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
If everybody turned the lights out and we just got into bed, he's going to follow us in there and lay down with us. But if I go to bed and she stays up, he's not going to come in there to bed till all the lights are out and then she goes to bed. If I was doing something like that and she was in the bed, he's going to stay up with me until the lights are out until I go in there. Do you see what I'm?
Sure.
Yeah. So that's what
so he's going to stay up with mom. Right. So, and before you went to bed, or as any conversation, I know you told me that you all had a conversation Friday evening sometime about the kids. We'll talk about that in a minute, but you said you all talked about the kids Friday evening. Does that conversation bleed over to when you get home, or is that conversation done?
No, whenever I got home, I went to bed. I mean, it was relatively, quickly when I got in there. Okay. The conversation does not bleed over.
Okay. So you go to bed, she stays up. What's she doing?
She's just on her phone, playing, I don't know what game, but she normally plays a game.
Right.
She's got several of them on there, but I don't know which one.
Okay. So she's on her phone, messing around, doing whatever, and you go to bed. Do you know what time Eli came to bed, or she put him into bed?
I don't know.
Don't have any idea.
I normally go to bed earlier than that, so when I went to sleep, I'm a pretty heavy sleeper. I wouldn't have noticed, if he crawled in there,
So you said you're a pretty heavy sleeper. So your phone, is getting phone calls, I can see it on your phone logs, before 7 o'clock in the morning on
Mhm.
Saturday morning. Do you hear that going off? Do you normally keep it in there?
Yeah, but I
with you, or-
don't have to, at that time, I've got an alarms on my phone at 6 o'clock and 7 o'clock. Sometimes I've got them at 4 and at 7, but my alarm most mornings goes off. I always have it for 6 and 7, but I'll wake up before my alarm goes off. But yeah, it's not uncommon for me to get calls really early in the morning.
So what time do you think you got up on Saturday morning?
I probably woke up around, in between that time, like 6 or 7 o'clock, and then I left. Did my normal thing, changed my clothes, put my clothes on, and headed out. Shortly after that,
Mhm. Well, I'm sorry, I forgot to ask you something. There, on the phone records, there appears to be a phone call, around midnight
All right,
on Friday night, Saturday morning.
all right,
I'm talking about on your way home, basically.
all right.
Do you know who that person was that called you around midnight? Do you
Can't-
remember
no,
taking
can't-
a phone call?
Can you just call the number back? I don't.
I mean, I could, I could.
What's
I
the
can
phone
look at
number?
the phone and
Yeah,
see
look
what's
at
in
my
there.
phone, but I don't remember
You don't
that.
remember getting a phone call on the way home?
Mhm.
Would it be unusual for you to get a phone call at midnight? I mean, it is for me, and I work for the sheriff's office. I get calls quite regularly.
Some of the people that do the tile for me, I wouldn't put it past them to call me at any time. They lay brick through the day, and then they're tiling my houses at night. The Thomases I wrote on there, Derek and his brother Tyler Thomas, they'll call me at any time. And even if it's just one day, I don't pay them people by the job. They got to get paid by the hour, and then when they get done with it, I pay them.
Right.
That's just what we've agreed on. But yeah, those folks there call me any hour.
It was a pretty short phone conversation is the only reason I asked.
Mhm.
Kind of unusual to get a 13-second phone conversation at midnight. It is for me. It may not be for you, but.
All right. Well,
We'll
check it out. Yeah,
we'll
check
look
it
at
out in
combinations.
detail. That's right.
So Saturday morning, you wake up sometime between 6 and 7. I think we decided that Danny Singleton, is that his name?
Mm-hmm.
A guy that works for you, was calling you. He called you pretty frequently. You said sometimes you give him an incentive to work on Saturdays,
Yeah.
and that may have been why he was calling you. So did you go do some work Saturday morning before you went to your mom's house? Before you went to the farm? Or what did you do Saturday morning?
No, I didn't. I didn't do any other work on Saturday morning. That's where I went out there to the farm.
Mhm.
I don't know exactly what time I got out there, but that's what I had done.
So you get up between 6 and 7, and where's Eli at when you wake up?
He's next to me.
He's in the bed with you.
Mm-hmm.
So you get up, does he get up with you?
He's still asleep whenever I get up, but I go to the bathroom and all that kind of stuff, and he's still sleeping there on the bed.
And so when you wake up, he's there, but Crystal's not.
She's not.
Okay. And so did you try to call her, or?
Yes, I noticed that she wasn't there, and I didn't know exactly what to think. I don't know what time I called her. Yes, I called her that morning.
I mean, did you call her before you left the house to go to the
I don't
farm?
remember what time I called her.
But do you remember where you were at? Were you at home or were you at the farm? Or you were on the way to the farm? I don't know, somewhere in between.
I don't recall. I don't know.
That's fair enough. So you, before you go to the farm, you feed Eli breakfast?
I did not before we got there. I normally get those squeezable yogurts, all them vitamins and minerals and stuff in it, and he likes to eat stuff like that for breakfast, and it's easy. He can do that in his car seat or whatever he's got to do.
So you think he was eating on the way to the farm?
I don't think he was. I know he was.
Okay.
Now, how much of the yogurt he ate, I don't know.
I'm not worried about that. It's not a question of what he ate or how much he ate. I'm just trying to
Well,
establish
he's a healthy boy,
a
I can tell
pattern
you.
of behavior
Alright.
from that weekend, and here's why, and I'll be honest with you, I have been all along, will continue to be. If I woke up on a Saturday morning and my wife wasn't with me in the bed, as is normal, which might not be normal for you, I don't know, but for me, it would be normal, particularly if my wife's a late sleeper, which mine is as well on Saturdays, for her to be there in the bed when I get up. So if she were not, probably the first thing I would do would be to call her to find out where she was.
But what you're not aware, what you're missing is a lot of times that her and Brooke, her sister, or Sabrina, a lot of these girls that they do all these, they go out and do stuff. Sometimes they do these, this is going to be embarrassing for me to talk to you about, but I'm wanting to get everything cleared up as quickly as I can. They do these fantasy parties.
Mhm.
All these girls get together. They talk about and do whatever. And it's not uncommon for them, when they go out and party, they stay out the better part of the night, if not the whole night. So, and of course, I always have the children, during that. They don't take the kids to that. Matter of fact, I take care of some of their other children while they're the ones going. It's not uncommon because they know I don't get into all that stuff, and they know that I'm a man, don't get me wrong. Understand that, a white-blooded American male. And there's no sense, I'm not telling you anything different, but they do all these parties and order all this stuff. Well, who gets the kids? I'm good enough to get the kids for all this, and I'm a good enough person to do that. And then when everybody sees a little bit of distress, they're going to throw me under the bus. They need to re-examine all these other actions, how, and I can understand the family wanting to vent and stress. Mm-hmm. And it makes perfect sense to me, but these people know me better than what's going on. And before this is all over and done with, you all are too, but it bothers me because not only have I been a victim, my mind's not even where it should be because I'm trying to protect Eli from this. And he's the most important person that I'm trying to protect. I don't care about them dragging my name through the mud right now because I want to keep the main focus and emphasis on bringing her back safely and as quickly as possible. But it really bothers me what's being done in the method that everybody's pursuing and doing, because what's going to happen is I don't want their apology. I don't want nothing from them. But then after this is all said and done, they're going to sweep it under the rug, and then they're just going to forget about what they've done to me in the process. Mm-hmm. What I've got to be faced with now is, as good a mother as Crystal's been, now nobody's going to love you like a mother. Now Eli is in an atmosphere where I've got all the hope in the world, but now I'm a single parent, it appears to me, where she's been there 100% of the time for him, to raise and rear him, where I know that he didn't have to go to a daycare or a babysitter, and I know that his mother is going to take care of him. And now, where am I at without that love and support from her? Mm-hmm. Now I've got a little boy who's 2, who's going to grow up his life. If something's not done where she's not brought back safely, now one of the very most important people in his life, he's got to grow up without. You see what I'm saying? Oh, yeah. And I'm in here answering a bunch of bullshit that I'm doing the best that I can possibly do with, but it's taking a lot of energy and effort away from the other efforts that could be out there trying to help and bring her back here safely. I can't even go out on the side of the road without looking like a murder or something like that. It's wrong. I've been extremely honest with you all, and now I'm up here doing all they can have the house. I'll take anything that you want. You don't need any of that paperwork or search warrants. And now I'm up here trying to get my head where I can be on the side of being able to protect myself and defend myself for my son whenever I'm the one I feel like has the largest loss. Yeah. So well, do what you got to do. I'll do whatever I can, but this is this is starting to get silly. I don't need an attorney. I haven't asked for an attorney. I don't need none of that. I'm innocent. I'm willing to talk to whoever. But this to me is really starting to get silly, because I feel like, I don't have a Facebook page. I don't have time to get on the internet. I don't know a lot about computers. Crystal did all that for me. I didn't have to do it because that's something else that she always took care of. So now I have people coming back to me telling me that they're completely trashing me online for the whole media. You know, I've taken 17 years of my life, and I feel like I've worked hard to get a good education. I've worked hard all these years. I've built a nice life for me and my family, and now my whole family's name is trashed for something that's completely not even tied to me. That's where I'm at right now. So I'm extremely upset. I'm hurt over it. I try to put on a tough shell and a bubble and move forward. It's extremely difficult to get up in the morning and push on and look at Eli and know that here I've got a million things going on that I have to get done. And then who's going to suffer? He is. And it's not right. I'm ready to hire an auctioneer to sell all this stuff so I can be there for him like Chris. What else do you want to know?
Take a minute, it's all right.
No,
It's fine to be upset, I understand. It's fine to be mad. I understand that too.
he's there asking for everybody. This is a shock to him.
It's okay to be upset by it, I understand. It's okay to be upset at her family. They're
Yeah, but their emotions are so shot right now, and I can understand it. And I don't, if that's how they want to be in.
But you're allowed to be emotional too.
That's
okay.
fine.
You're
What they're mad about is the darn cell phone that I took away from Ashley because her mother told for me to take it away from her. That's what they're mad about. And it's just been a spiral since then in October. And ever since then, their attitude towards me and everything is so wrong. For punishing a 16-year-old girl when she's not hurt, she's not hit, nothing like that. And I'm the worst person in the world for having any, and I understand I'm not her dad, I'm not her disciplinary figure. If she disobeyed her mother, I followed a direct order from her mother. Mother couldn't get it from her. I took her cell phone from her. And then it's just been hell ever since.
That was the whole thing about the wrist?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, they took her up to the hospital and did the same with CPS and all this bunch of garbage. They ruled it unsubstantiated, or however they wanted to say it. No bearing, or whatever. When you pull the reports, they documented it all. You can get all that stuff too.
You want some water?
No, I'm good. Let's move forward. Whatever you need, I'm here to give to you. Okay. I'm innocent. I don't need an attorney, so I'm good. Ask whatever you want to ask.
Well, if we can just continue the conversation, and I don't want to rush you. Take your time. I think we left off around about Saturday morning. So you guys got up, and she wasn't there. So you and Eli got ready and went to the farm. Did you go anywhere else before you went to the farm?
I didn't stop at McDonald's or nothing to get any kind of breakfast because he had that yogurt, that squeezable breakfast, whatever. I don't know. Whatever. Some of them still in the refrigerator if you want one.
That's fine. So you went to the farm, and was your mom there Saturday? Do you remember?
I didn't stop at the house up there either that morning.
What do you do with Eli while you're working on the equipment? Do you have, is he in the equipment?
I'm usually not one that works on the equipment. Sometimes I might drive some of it, but yeah, if I get on that little tractor, he rides in my lap.
No, but I'm saying you said you worked on the driveway, on the drive in front of the barn there. So
yeah, but no, he's got 5 or 6 tricycles and big wheels and stuff like that he plays on.
It don't take a lot. This isn't about your parenting skills. Don't miss.
I understand, yeah, but
I'm not asking you about that, but what, if you're working on the dozer, is Eli in the dozer with you, or is he out playing in the yard?
I'm not really working on the dozer. He's got 5 or 6 of them tricycles and big wheels things that are at the barn. And if he's not out there with the cows or something, he rides them little toys around. We got them down there in the barn. We got them out there in the driveway. It don't take a lot to entertain him. A lot of times he pedals or does whatever he does.
Sure. But how long would you think that it took you to fix that area you said was taking on water there in front of the barn with the dozer?
No, I don't know. A lot of times on Saturday, I just use that as a place to vent and get away from what I call the city, not just like Bardstown, the city, but all the
Right.
city stuff that goes on, loud music and all that. Out there, you hear crickets.
Yeah.
You know, you don't hear a lot of people. So I'll go out there to kind of, a lot of times just to get away from the stress of all these tenants and stuff, calling these new construction contractors and stuff. It's a kind of a little vacation away from home.
Right, but you told me earlier that on Saturday you fixed the spot in front of the barn where the water was going in.
Yeah, if the water's not, if it's not been like raining a solid week or whatever, you can't really tell if it hits and misses. Sometimes if we get a substantial amount of rain, you can kind of tell where problems are, like, you know, and I could tell. So that's just what I did. Just piddle, just nothing important, just piddle.
Right, but would Eli normally be in the bulldozer with you while you're operating it? Was he in there with you while you were operating it?
He's drove it, not that more there he wasn't. But yeah, I mean, he has been, and he's drove the bulldozer before. He's drove all the tractors out there before.
So that morning, did you say mom was or wasn't home? You don't know?
I don't remember.
You don't know. Okay. So you don't know that he was out riding on his tricycles or whatever. When you said in the driveway, you mean the driveway for the house or the driveway that you're working on?
Say it again now.
You said you were working on the driveway in front of the barn with the dozer, right?
Yeah, from down there by.
And you said he was probably riding on tricycles or something.
Yeah, I'm sure he was running on the concrete slab. It's easier for him to pedal on the slab than it is outside there, and I can see him better. My visibility's better if he's in there than out here.
Right. So he was here by the barn and not over by the house in the driveway.
No, he wasn't by the house.
Gotcha. Okay. So you guys finish up whatever you're
Maybe later that day or something, he might have went over there. The chickens might have come down there. He might have done something with them. I don't know. But it's not uncommon for him to, the chickens out there, they can be fast, but they're not scared of people because he plays with them so much. But you can catch them pretty easy. I mean, he treats them like a cat.
Mm-hmm. So you guys, any idea how long you were out there? Saturday?
It was usually on Saturday, I'm not in any kind of a rush because I try to take, I usually try to take it easy on Saturday.
Okay. So did you eat lunch out there?
I don't know if I ate lunch there. I know I ate supper out there at Fabian's house that night because he had everybody over there at his house there's about, I don't know, maybe 150 people over there at my mom's brother's house. Mm-hmm. We went out there for a short while. It wasn't real long. I know I ate there. Eli ate there. I don't know what we did for lunch. I can't remember.
Okay. Did you go from the farm to Fabian's, or
I don't know if I took I may have went home and taken a shower from being out there on the farm. I don't want to go there smelling like a bunch of cows.
Sure.
I may have went home. I'm not sure. I don't know. I may have went home and took a shower and then came back. That's more than likely what I did, but I can't remember.
Okay. So then sometime Saturday evening, you went over to Fabian's house. Do you remember around about what time that was? That would have been 4th of July.
Yeah, that's when we were supposed to go to that.
Did you all stay out there for fireworks or?
We didn't stay that late. I know that there was a bunch of people there that I hadn't seen in a good while. And my mom's got a pretty large family that I hadn't seen that I wanted to see them. But we didn't stay out there real late.
Any idea how many times you've called Crystal at this point? By the time you went from getting up Saturday morning until you were going to the family gathering?
I know I called her back around maybe noon again the second time. And I don't know what the exact time I called her after that, but I know that sometimes in the past, if I called her to blow her phone up, it made it worse.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes I've just called periodically, and I found that she doesn't take as much offense to that. You know, if you're just disrespectful to them, especially if somebody's mad, it just makes it worse. To keep calling them. I wasn't even alarmed. I was for sure the girls were doing this to me on purpose. Brooke and Sabrina and them.
So while you're at the family gathering at Fabian's house, anybody ask you where Crystal was?
Mm-mm. She hadn't went out there to Fabian's house a whole lot. Some of them people knew her, some of them people out there wouldn't have known her, but right then I don't
Not
remember.
really a big deal for them.
No, and it's something that those people there we see once every, sometimes every few years. A lot of them people really hadn't. Some of them have seen her, and a lot of them have not seen her. You know, haven't met her.
Sure.
So
So
like I said, it was a substantial amount of people.
you're out there. You said did you say you didn't stay for fireworks?
No, we didn't stay that late.
So you and Eli leave before dark.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's usually when people set off fireworks on 4th of July. And do you go home? You go to somebody else's house?
And that was on Saturday.
Yeah, that was Saturday. You go to mom's? Where do you go after you leave there?
No, I think we rode with my mother over there.
So Fabian's house?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we rode with her, and then I went home after that.
So you rode back to mom's house with her, and then you didn't stay at mom's. You went back to your house.
Yeah, I didn't. I don't know the exact timing and all that right there, but I do know that I rode with her over there to Fabian's house.
Okay. And you left her house and went home.
I don't know if I stayed there any period of time or not. I may have stayed there just a little bit. I don't think very much, but I might have stayed there a little bit. I'm not sure.
I mean, you didn't stay the night there.
No.
Did you go anywhere else after you left mom's house before you went home?
Not that I can remember.
Okay.
I tell you what would be a good idea for folks is to put a darn camera. You think I'm joking? I'm being serious. You try to go back through this. I need to put a camera in your vehicle and up there in front of you, just live on tape, and then you.
Well, I'm not asking you to recall every detail of your life, brother. But I'm just trying to.
But it would help me if I could.
Well, but listen, I couldn't tell you what I did 2 days ago. I couldn't tell you what I did before I started investigating this, because I've been investigating this for 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I'm not asking you to remember every single minute, but you know, and I realized that it wasn't a big deal for her to be gone for you, but you know, most people can remember, you know, most of the things they did during the day, not every single minute, but you remember going to Fabian's house, you remember leaving Fabian's house, going to mom's, right? And going, so if you went from mom's house to home, you'd eat dinner at Fabian's.
I don't know if it was her mother. I met her mother at the gas station somewhere. One of them days.
Mm-hmm.
Her mother, Sherry,
Mm-hmm.
Crystal's mother, Sherry, and I don't know if Ashley was with her and other kids were with them, but I stopped at right there in front of Walmart where I get a bunch of fuel at up right at that Murphy station across from Lowe's right there.
Right.
And I was on the phone with either Ashley or Sherry, one, I forgot which, and they said, I tell you what I've done too. I talked to Brooke on the phone at the farm. I talked to Brooke, her younger sister, before I left because I was heading into town to get fuel at that point. So whatever time that I talked to Brooke, you'll know that I left.
Mhm.
So make a note of that.
You
So
were,
I
you were
talked
leaving,
I talked to Brooke on the phone, and that's when I was leaving the farm on 49. And I drove in 49, and then I made a right there on 150 and went up there to Walmart. And then I got on the phone with Sherry, or Ashley, when I don't know whose phone they were on.
Mhm.
But that'll help me right there, because that's, you can pinpoint an exact time. And then I pulled in there to that Murphy station.
Mhm.
And then Sherry came up there to my window.
Okay.
And asked me if I'd seen Crystal. And this right here is after I talked to Barbara Lane, and I sent her, I called her a couple times. I don't think I got an answer. She's probably busy doing something. And then I sent her a text message. And after I kind of stayed on her, she knew that it was serious because it'd been longer than normal when she'd done this before in the past.
And this was Saturday?
I'm not sure. You'll have to. So much stuff happened all so quick. You just have to dissect. That's the reason I've given you all my stuff. My
Sure,
phone.
yeah.
You can dissect all that and figure, get an exact time. So I called Barbara and I sent her a text message. I talked to her mother at Walmart, up there at that Murphy gas station. I had Eli with me then, of course. I had him with me all the time, and she wanted to look at Eli. She said, "Where's Eli?" I said, "Right there." And then she spoke to him and she looked at him and said hi, and he said hi, and that was it.
So she just asked you if you'd seen Sherry, and you told her no?
No, she asked me if I saw
Crystal, sorry.
Crystal.
Get my names confused. So Sherry asked you if you'd seen Crystal.
She's the only one. Everybody else stayed in her vehicle, and then she walked over to my truck.
And when you told her, I haven't seen her, don't know where she is, and she just said okay and asked about
No,
Eli?
she thought that the wisest thing for us to do was, she said she was going to go to the police station.
Okay, so
And I told her that I think at that point I'd already talked to Barbara, I believe. I'm not sure, Barbara Lane, and I'm not sure. I don't know the time periods. I don't know. I just don't know.
That's fine. So
And then I went home.
So Saturday you went home after
The gas station.
So you think that was okay? So you think the gas station was between leaving the farm and getting showered up before you go to Fabian's?
No, that's incorrect.
Okay. You said you were leaving to go get fuel.
Yeah, I did leave the farm to go get fuel. I don't know. I don't know if that was Friday. I don't know if that was Saturday that I got fuel. I'm sure I did it with my card. I can prove what time that was too.
And
So I talked to
maybe
Sherry.
Sunday. Do you think it was this? Do you think you talked to Sherry the same day they reported her missing? She said something.
Yes, she said yes. Okay. The day that
So they reported her missing on Sunday.
Then it was Sunday. I feel like whenever. That's because Sherry told me she's going to the police station.
Mm-hmm.
Is Sherry the one that reported her missing?
Mm-hmm.
Sherry's. All right. I had a question from the media or from the news that I wanted to ask you all to think about. You all said that a family member found her car. How does that happen? Rather than the police department, as large as this county is, a family member.
Well, that's a pretty big family, and as I understand it, someone who knew them called them and said there's a car that looks like hers on the parkway, and they went out there.
Who was the family member that found that car?
I don't know, I have to look at my notes. There were two of them.
Am I able to know that question, that answer?
I can tell you who it was. I just have to look back through my notes and see who it was. And I'm not great either, but I want to say that it was. I'm trying to think. There was.
You can look back at them, I'm sure.
I want to say it was a brother and nephew. I know we took elimination prints from one of them because they touched the car before we got there. So we took elimination prints from them like we did from you to rule out any prints that we found in the car as being that person.
All right.
So I want to say that it was one of her brothers. How many did
She only had Casey's or
Casey, so I want to say it was her brother and maybe her dad that went out there. But I think it was her brother that somebody actually called, but that may be incorrect. I'll have to look at the notes.
All right.
But, so, Saturday evening, you went to Fabian's house, you had dinner, you went home. You're home all evening with Eli?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, anybody come over, anybody not?
Yeah, I feel like, yeah, Richie comes over to my house all the time. He's over every day.
Who's Richie?
Richie Riggs, he's my manager, my real estate agent. He lives next door at 115 Glenview Drive. He's one of the people on that list.
Okay. So you go to bed Saturday night, you got Eli with you, presumably, because you said you guys went home from Fabian's.
Not presumably, he was with me.
Right. Well, I didn't want to put words in your mouth, so if he's with you, tell me.
He's with me, yeah, he was with me.
Again, not trying to offend, I just don't want to put words in your mouth.
Yeah, I don't want you to either.
So you and Eli go to bed Saturday night, you get up normal time Sunday morning? Do y'all go to church?
No, sir.
Okay.
Didn't go to church. Went on Sunday. I don't remember what we did Sunday.
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't want to.
Is Sunday when I went in? Is Sunday when I came up here and talked to you that night, or Saturday night?
That would have been Sunday night. Mm-hmm. Sorry, let me make sure he's giving me what I need here. Your phone's on my desk. That's what he was telling me.
That's fine. I ain't worried about that. Hope we had fun answering it.
He probably didn't answer. Yeah, Sunday night you came up here and talked to me. That was after they found the car and everything. So sometime Sunday after 12 o'clock is when you talk to Sherry at the gas station. I think, and I'd have to look at your phone to see, but and you may know or might know, but you called Barbara. You call her Barbara Lane. I just call her Barbara. That's all I've ever known her by. But Barbara Roby was a Ballard, right?
Yeah.
You called her and talked to her about Crystal being gone, or she called you?
No, I'm the one calling her.
Okay. And what does that conversation sound like?
I think the first time that I called her, that I don't think she answered the phone. So I left a message, and then I don't got a response, and then I sent a text message to her, and that's when she called back, and I think she tried to call her, and she didn't get an answer.
Okay.
And you know.
So I'm piecing things together from what they've told me as well. So at some point you do talk to her on the phone, but when you get up Sunday morning and Crystal's still not home, or you're starting to get concerned, that's why you call Barbara? Or?
Yes, exactly. And that's the reason that I did call her. But before then, I wasn't alarmed. She done this before,
right?
And I wasn't alarmed. That's all there is to it.
Yeah. So you call Barbara.
I knew I gave Barbara Lane more credibility than Sabrina, Brooke, or any of them, because I know them young girls. If Crystal tells them not to say nothing, you ain't gonna be able to beat it out of them.
Right.
And them girls they're just like, especially to a guy, if they're fighting, they're not, and I'm smart enough to know that, but I knew Barbara would say, hey, she don't want to talk to you, or she's fine, just leave her, give her some time. I knew Barbara wouldn't keep me, she's a mature woman. You understand the difference in what I'm, so she would at least, I feel like, let me know, hey, where I wouldn't have to worry.
Right.
She might not give me no details or nothing, which is fine, but she would at least ease my concern. And that's the reason I called her over these other people, because I knew I'd get further with her.
And at some point, so you do talk to her, and as I understand it, at some point she came over to your house. Is that right?
She's been there a few times since then.
Right, but that particular day she came over to your house, was that before or after you talked to Sherry? Do you remember?
I have no idea.
No, that's fine. So you.
I don't even remember doing that. I remember seeing her a bunch more this last little bit than I really ever had before, but I don't, as far as talking to Sherry at the gas station
Right.
and then keeping everything synchronous, I had no idea, none.
Okay. Well, I mean, I know that Sherry was here at 3 o'clock thereabouts filing the report, the missing persons report. So that part I can kind of figure out, okay, so it was sometime before 3 o'clock that you talked to her at the gas stations. I'm thinking probably, closer to that time than farther away, not early in the morning, what have you. And then, of course, fast forward to they find the car at 5 o'clock. Out on the parkway, and the sergeant responds out there, and then he calls me, and then I come out and start investigating, and obviously I call you to come and talk to me about the last time that you saw Crystal. So that kind of builds my timeline. Obviously, there's some gaps in there, understandably, but some of those gaps become really important. For instance, validating or invalidating the guy's statement about her being on 49 between 1 and 2. You see what I'm saying? The gaps in time become really important to me because that's how I determine where my gaps in the investigations are and where I should focus my investigation. I've got guys out there that all I got to do is call them and say, hey, go check this out. But I have to have something for them to check out before I can call and tell them. Couple things that I want to get into that are going to be, somewhat personal, okay? And it's not intended to pry into your personal life. It's intended to pry into what's going on in Crystal's mind, okay? I'm trying to get a reference for her frame of mind for the past few days before she goes missing so that I can rule out any possibility of intention to harm self or things of that nature. You understand? And I don't know that I can rule that out, but what do you think about it? Do you think that that she has the potential to harm herself?
I don't know any of all that. Crystal is not that kind of person. I don't believe at all. I don't feel that way at all.
Mm-hmm. So you don't think she had any suicidal tendencies whatsoever?
No, sir.
Never tried it in the past?
No.
Never come close to ODing on drugs in the past?
No.
When she would go out, did she drink much?
She not a whole family drinks, but she drinks a little bit, not any.
To the point where somebody has to bring her home and drop her on the front stoop?
No, she ain't no drunk.
Mm-hmm. Well, you said sometimes she goes out after you go to bed.
They do drink and they need a driver, but they're not what you're describing is like a sloppy drunk. Just somebody got tore down. I mean,
right.
That's not an accurate picture of her.
Okay.
And she likes going out and having a good time, but I mean, I guess, I don't want to say like a maybe conservative person, but
sure.
Just a normal, typical
social drinker.
Yeah, normal, typical person likes to have a good time. I mean, that's it.
So, if you had to guess, how often would you say she would go out?
She doesn't go out real often. Not real often. I mean, she's got all her kids, and we got Eli. I mean, we have a pretty busy lifestyle, and seems like we've always got kids here and there. So I mean, right. We don't have a whole lot of time to do that. We don't like to get babysitters all the time. Sometimes if her parents have a couple of the kids or Keith might have a couple of them, we might go out with. Usually, with Eli, we don't usually seldom ever get a babysitter for him, and we take him with us. But other than that,
well, I guess the reason I'm confused about that is because you said it was not unusual for her to go out with the girls.
It's not unusual.
Yeah, so help me understand. You mean?
But that's what
once a month, or once every other month, or I mean, how much time are we talking about here? Because my wife might have a girl night a couple times a year, but she might not be the typical wife either. I don't know.
Maybe probably about 2 times every 3 months.
Okay.
Like once every 6 weeks or something like that.
Sure. So you said Eli generally does not go to a babysitter.
No, he doesn't. I don't want him at a baby, and I certainly don't want him at somebody's house that smokes. I just don't. I don't want it. I'd rather just keep him right with me, and I'd rather, if we're going out doing something, I'd rather just take him right along. Right along with us.
So that kind of brings me to one of my questions that I had. We talked a little bit about the last time that we talked when we were at your house, and you kind of explained it. And I get the fact that she would tell the kids, hey, we got a babysitter for the night or for the evening, we're gonna go out, I get that. You explained that the other kids kind of get jealous.
And
if you guys
we don't want to hurt their feelings.
Sure.
Especially Kylie, the situation, she's always wanted any kid really wants a father figure in her life. She's really struggled in that area, and her mother doesn't want her to think that she's pushing one of the children out and then the other one can go with us. I mean, that's normal. In my opinion,
sure.
It is.
And I get why she might tell Keith that, because Keith has 2 of the kids. She doesn't want him to tell them differently than what she's told them. Are you familiar with a woman named Christina Holly?
Yes, I know who you're talking about.
There are some text messages between her and Crystal on Friday. And she's asking Crystal if she wants to go to Chuck E. Cheese, I think it was. Something to do with the kids. Something with the kids. And she tells her the same thing. Well, we've got a sitter for the evening. It's our first time being kid-free for a while, so we don't want to, we're kid-free. We're going to enjoy ourselves.
Right.
Why would she lie to her about that?
I don't know. I can't answer that question.
Are her and Christina close?
Yeah, they've always been good friends. I know exactly who you're talking about.
Do they, close enough that they see each other on a regular basis every few days, or
no,
talk on the phone? Or...
They talk on the phone, but I don't know if they see each other that often. But I think we were also supposed to maybe go to the zoo or something too. She's got a little girl that's really close to this, born in the same month apart.
As Eli?
Yeah, as Eli.
It's just curious to me. These are the things that make me wonder. And in any other situation, they might not amount to nothing. But
did you ever talk to the girl, Amanda?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So
she says there was no plans for her to babysit.
All right.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that Crystal hadn't planned for someone else to watch him. I don't know that. You know that because you and Crystal have him together. But I don't know that because I don't know you guys.
I don't know. Maybe sometimes she might use Crystal's phone. I don't know. I don't know. I can't answer that.
Right.
I do not know the answer.
Okay. But as far as you know, you all did not have plans for a babysitter that night.
No, absolutely no.
The plan was all along for you guys to go to the farm.
Yes. Okay.
Give me just a second. I want to get your phone and look that phone number.
All right.
I mean, you told me called.
Yeah, go right ahead.
So just. Okay, if we put that number in.
Yeah, go right ahead. Do what you gotta do.
Looks like you got a couple messages. I don't know how to do that.
You
I've
just
got an
do-
Apple phone, so just, I
You
mean,
just want to put the number in, right?
or check contacts or however you do it to see who it is, yeah.
492-1390. Just call it. Oh, Steve Lawson.
Okay, who is Steve Lawson?
He's somebody works for me. Hey, Steve. Hey, I can't hear you real good. I'm gonna ask you to speak up a little bit, okay?
Okay, sir.
Hey, I was wanting to know. Hey, I've got some things going on next week. I'm
Yes, sir.
gonna need your help with it. Are you already booked up, or can you help me?
I haven't moved up yet. I was still looking for a place. That's why I needed them numbers from you.
All right. Well, I can write them all down and get them there for you. But I was actually talking about doing some more work with your little skid steer and so forth. Mine's still broke down.
Well, like I said, get with me tomorrow. I'm coming. I know you have a hard time hearing me because it's where I'm located at.
All right.
So just get in touch with me tomorrow and we'll see what we can do. But my question, I just want to tell you, I'm sorry about everything that's going on in your life, brother, and I got you in my prayers.
I said it is a very difficult and trying time, but I appreciate you saying that. But hey, I need your help while I got you on the phone here. Do you remember the other night you called me really late, and I forgot what you asked me. Can you? I guess we wasn't on the phone. I might have been tired. I know it was pretty late at night. Can you remember what you asked me or what you were after? I can't remember.
Yes, sir, I can. I called to ask you for them numbers for a house.
Oh, for a rental house.
Yes, sir, I did.
And what did I forgot? What did I tell you?
You told me that you would call, what's her name, Katie or whatever, she handles all that.
Crystal.
Crystal, okay, I apologize.
Yeah.
And she said she handles all that, and that you would get back with me on it.
All right. Thank you so much now.
Hey, if there's anything I can do, you give me a call.
Thank you. You have a good night now.
Yes, sir, God bless you.
Thank you.
Okay. So that begs a question in my mind.
All right.
If she's in the truck next to you when he called, why would you need to call her about getting numbers for rental cars?
Because being that late at night, we're headed to the house. You know, I just wouldn't. She normally's not going to deal with stuff that late. And I mean, I probably didn't even look at the phone to see who it was calling me. I'm sure I just answered it. You know.
But he said you told him that you'd need to call her.
All right.
Why would you need to call her? I mean, that's an odd phrase for someone who's sitting next to you in the truck. Do you understand? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see exactly what you're saying. But I mean, that's what if that right there is what I told him, that right there is what I told him. We wasn't on the phone that long, but normally I would just, she handles all that, and that's what I would do. She's not going to want to mess with that kind of stuff that late. I'm sure I'll probably try to answer the phone really quickly, so that it wouldn't, a lot of times after I get moving, Eli goes to sleep, you know. Sometimes he goes to sleep in the truck, and sometimes he doesn't. So if you want to call him, you got his number and everything. If you want to call him, you know, you can call him.
What do you think?
I'm shocked. I do not know.
I mean, you told me that she doesn't do drugs.
She's not on any kind of drugs that I'm aware of.
She drinks socially. On
And
occasion.
mildly, yes, not any kind of.
Every 6-8 weeks, something like that, right? Has she ever had trouble with depression before?
Not really, not to my knowledge. I mean, there's always stress that's your highs and lows in people's life, but I wouldn't classify her as a stressful person or someone that's deeply depressed.
Well, I know Keith Rogers, her ex-husband, or still current, but not together. I know that he has had a drug problem in the past. Was she with him during the time that he had the drug problem? Or was that after?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not,
you guys got together?
I
Was
mean,
she
I think,
involved in that
I
at the
think
time?
that he has fought that for some time, and I think that she was obviously definitely in the picture while that was going on, but I don't, to my knowledge, she didn't get wrapped up into any of that.
I guess the biggest problem that I have is that most women are not gonna walk away from their purse and their cell phone in the car.
I agree with
You
you.
know what I'm saying? If she were gonna walk to go find help or something, she would take her phone even if it was dead. She wouldn't, my wife wouldn't leave her purse anywhere for any reason. So I can't figure why she would walk away from the car and leave the purse there. When we took the bloodhounds up there, the lady commented that it was though she wasn't even there. I mean, they had her things that you provided us for scent, and they said it was as though she was not even there. I can't explain that. I don't understand what that means. I don't know why, if it's her car and she leaves in it sometime Friday night, why does it appear to the dogs that she's not even there?
I agree with you.
This same set of bloodhounds tracked her in the car from 49, and they had never been to your mom's farm before, tracked her scent all the way down 49, turned on Balltown Road, and turned on Pascal Ballard as though they were following your car. So I know the dog's not defective.
That's right.
Because they're following her scent, and they don't know where your mom lives. They've never been there before. So the dog's nose is not defective. So when the dog doesn't even try to find her on the parkway where her car ends up, it's just very odd to me. And I can't figure out why they wouldn't find any scent of her at all if she walked one way or another.
It would have picked it up.
Right. They would have at least walked far enough for her to have been picked up by somebody. You know, if you break down on the parkway, somebody's not going to pull bumper to bumper with you. So you're going to have to walk from your car to their car to get in.
Right.
So the dog doesn't even act like it wants to go in one direction or another, even far enough for her to have even gotten in a car with somebody. That's just weird to me. I don't understand. Unless she was never in her car when it got put on the parkway. I don't know.
I mean, I can't answer that. I do not know.
Do you know of anybody that would want to hurt her?
I mean, as far as I know, she's a well-likable person.
Right.
I know that she's done a few evictions with some folks, got a few people upset, but
Were they messy evictions?
I mean,
like threat?
I mean, there's never a good eviction.
Right, but I mean, somebody has to be
it's
out
just
for
normal business. But I can't think of anything. She's a likable person. I can't think of anybody who would want to harm her.
Ever have anybody show up at the house upset over something? You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Coming
Yeah.
when it's not appropriate for them to be coming to their landlord's house. Ever have them show up at your house beating on the door, hey, you threw me out or whatever?
I've never had somebody come up there to the house over an eviction saying you threw me out. Not one time. Now, several of the tenants do come to our house. Some people don't just mail them money or a check. Sometimes people stop by there and drop it off.
Sure.
And, you know, she can write them a receipt that way or whatever. But as far as what you're saying about you evicted me and you threw me out and they're confronting her about it, never happened one time.
is Kylie's dead? Excuse me. Kylie's dead. He doesn't have anything to do with her.
Very little. I don't even know. I think he lives a far piece from here. I'm not really sure.
So
where.
I thought they said her dad's name was John Fenwick. Is that correct? Or
No, that's not right.
That's not right. Okay.
I think it's Jesse. John Fenwick is one of the owners of Bluegrass Seed.
Right.
Yeah, that's not her.
Okay.
That's not
So
her.
Jesse Fenwick.
I believe, and that might not even
Somebody
be
that doesn't
legal.
live around here close.
Yeah, it's a far piece.
Is it now? But obviously, his mom lives on Stone Road.
Yes.
So he's a member of that Fenwick family that's from around here.
I don't know how many sets of Fenwicks there are, but I know there's.
As far as I know, there's only two. Now, I don't know which one he would belong to, and there may be more than that I'm unaware of.
Right.
So, do you know, is she related to the Fenwicks that own the Bluegrass Seed? Or
I
you think
do
it's
not.
different?
I don't think she is, but I do not know.
for sure.
I
can
don't
ask
do
Abby.
family
She-
trees and all. I don't do all
Right.
that.
I didn't know since you do business, if you've done business with them, if it come up, but, and then Ashley is the daughter that her mom and dad raised.
Yes, and I figured out her last name is Johnson. I couldn't tell you that the other night because I was so stressed out, but her last name is Johnson, and I do not know her dad's first name. I just know that he stays incarcerated quite a bit. He'll get out from time to time, but he will only make it about a week, and they find a reason to lock him back up again, whether it be drugs or whatever it is.
Have you all ever had any trouble out of it?
I've never met the man. I know that was a pretty abusive relationship from what Crystal's told me, but I don't really know. I can't speak intelligently upon it. It's been quite some time back, so I don't know a whole lot about it. I don't even know the guy's first name.
No custody issues with Keith?
I know that Tori has told her before that she gets mad if Tori gets mad if she's been corrected or something like that right there. She'll say, well, I'm going to my dad's house, or I'm going over here. They'll want to flip-flop back or forth or whatever, split house.
Play one off the other.
Yeah, I know Tori does that, but I don't think they've ever really had any big issue on getting the kids. From what I can understand, that's been pretty good. If one of them wants them, or Keith wants them for a little bit, or the kids want to go over there, they just had kind of like a mutual agreement where that's what they did. That's just what they did. They never really struggled with it,
Yeah. Well, okay, so I guess where I go from here, we're still getting video from different places, that along that route.
Can I get this?
Sure. Hello?
No. I'm up here. I know that you didn't know. I'm up here in this interview with the Detective Snow. I've been up here a good little while. I'm filling out this statement here and everything. Are you telling me that's what I need to do? I know that. But the way that I look at it is, I'm innocent. I ain't done nothing wrong. I know you told me innocent people have got jammed up, but if you're telling me to leave, I'll get up and leave. If you want me to. I know I'm going through a lot, but I'm trying to get this guy to help me. I don't think she's ran off with some other guy. I don't believe that. You can't make me think that. No. Yeah, so do I. I'll do exactly what you're telling me to do right now. You want me to get up and leave? Man, I don't think these people are rather vindictive just to skin me for no reason. Man, this is not their family. This is not. All right, thank you. He thinks y'all are gonna fuck is what he thinks.
I don't know who he is.
Nick, my brother.
If you want to go, you're free.
No, I know it, but I'm not. He just said just to keep sitting up here, to give a statement, do an interview, whatever I gotta do it. But he said, no, just letting them just beat you to death over this right here. Just ask what you gotta ask and let, you know.
And you tell me.
You see, I mean, he knows more about this than I do. You see.
And have I told you that I'm for you?
Yes, you have.
I said, what did I say? My job is to find Crystal, right?
That's right.
However that happens, my job is to find her. Whether I
All right.
find her hopefully alive and well and safe somewhere or not, my job is to find her. If I don't find her alive and well, my job is to prosecute the person that did something.
That's right.
If that turns out to be you, my job is to prosecute you. If that turns out to be someone else, my job is to prosecute them, to gather evidence for a lawyer, a prosecutor to prosecute them. I don't know whether that person will be you or not. Did I not tell you when you come in here and sit down today that right now you're the main person of interest?
Yes, that's right.
And I explained to you the reason that you're the main person of interest, right? You're the last person to see her alive, right? And I went through your timeline with you and explained to you that there's gaps in your timeline, right? Be it good, bad, or indifferent, you can't remember some things about Saturday, you can't remember some things about Sunday. That's not a judgment against you, that's just a fact. I am simply a fact finder. If you want to go, you may go at any time you wish to. I would never dream of stopping you, didn't tell you you had to stay. If you want to bring a lawyer in and answer questions with a lawyer, you're welcome to do that. I'd have been asking you the very same questions in front of your lawyer that I asked you today, right? I have not given up hope of finding her alive. That being said, you know as well as I do, the longer this draws out, the less likely we are to find her alive unless she's run off somewhere. I mean, that's just a fact.
That's right.
That's just the facts as they are. I am not for you. I am not against you. I am not for her family or against her family. Right now, my job is to work for Crystal. Plain and simple. It's just that simple. If that means that I have to interrogate you, then that's what I have to do. You've been nothing but cooperative with me. I appreciate that. We've talked. This makes number 3, third time?
I don't know. I can't.
3 times. Here, the first time, at your house the second time, and here the third time again, not counting the polygraph, because I didn't ask you any questions then. You've not asked for a lawyer. You're right. That's your right to do. You're entitled to do that. If Nick thinks you should go and you want to take his advice, go ahead. It's fine. I'm not offended by that. My job is not to make you happy. My job is to find Crystal. If that makes you happy, awesome. You know, but make no mistake, my job is to find her. That's what I'm doing. If I offend people in the midst of that, well, I'll apologize later for offending people. If it finds her home safe, then I'll just take the blunt of offending people and go on. You know, just like what you said. What'd you say? Doesn't matter what they think of you as long as we find her.
That's right.
So that being said, you know, you're free to take Nick's advice if he wants you to leave. I don't really have any more questions with you. I was just going to tell you where we go next.
All right, yeah, well, wrap it up and you tell me what we're doing next, and if it's over, it's maybe pass along.
So, yeah, you know, here's what I'm looking at, right? I'm trying to find video of her car getting on the parkway, whether it's New Haven Road or 150, trying to find some video of her car getting on the parkway in hopes that it will reveal to us when it gets on the parkway, because there's some confusion about that. Some people calling in saying they saw it on Saturday. Some people calling in saying they saw it on Sunday morning. Some people calling in saying it wasn't there Saturday or Sunday morning. That's just the nature of the beast. When you put information out there, you get a lot of it back. So I'm trying to figure out when it got on the parkway, and if I can, who was driving it when it got on the parkway. Maybe she was driving it, maybe she wasn't. Maybe somebody else was driving it. I don't know. You know, maybe somebody stole it and it got a flat tire and they left it on the parkway. I have no idea. There's a million possibilities about how it got on there. So I'm trying to figure that out. I would like to fill in the gaps in your timeline. I may be able to do that with the video at your aunt and uncle's house, because they may be able to show me when you came and went from the farm on Saturday, those kind of things. I'm probably going to interview your mom. I'm probably going to interview Nick and ask them, you know, if they were with you anytime during that time. Maybe they have a little better memory of it. They can fill in those gaps. I'm probably going to interview the employees that called you Friday and Saturday, or Friday evening and then Saturday, to interview them and ask them, you know, when you called him, what did you talk about? How long did you talk? Mr. Stanley or whatever his name is, you know, did he answer the phone? Did you all talk on Saturday morning? If you did, what did you talk about? Did you go see him? Those kinds of things to help me fill in your timeline, which gives me a better idea of whether or not you're involved in her disappearance. And that's what I do. So, and then once I've done as much as I feel like I can do, I'm going to move on to other things. I'll be honest. Beyond that, short of finding her somewhere, I've done about all the forensic countermeasures I can do. You know, we've gone through the car with a fine-tooth comb. We've fingerprinted the car. We've gone through her purse. We're going to start going through bank records. You know, she did have an account. I know you told me you didn't know that she did or didn't. She did have an account of some sort. My understanding is maybe from a family member that there was some Social Security disability from Keith for the kids that maybe went into that account. Maybe that's the case. We'll kind of look into that. You know, we'll start questioning people about the validity of those kinds of things, about the apartment and those kind of things, and try to get a better idea if that's just a shady rumor or whatever, you know. But unfortunately, I've got to dispel all of these rumors. You know, that's part of my job. We've got to either prove them, disprove them, or no, we can't do either. So that's where I'm at.
All right.
So I appreciate you coming in. If I ask you to come in again, or if I come see you, again, know that you're always welcome to tell me you don't want to talk to me anymore. That's perfectly okay. All right?
Are you completely done with my phone?
Yes, sir.